everyone who is here. I think we maybe have picked up one or two along the way, and so we're very happy to have you here. I did not ask it at the first cemetery, but do we have any descendants of either of the two gentlemen that are buried, two patriots that are buried here? Now, he said he didn't know.
No, she.
Yeah, Glenna?
Yeah.
Yeah. Glenna is a daughter of the American Revolution, and I think this is on the uncle side here. I'm going to move right ahead with a poem called Memorial Day by Frederick Emerson. This poem was written after the Civil War, and so you'll see some references in here that relate more to the Civil War than to the current day. But I thought it was an excellent poem for Memorial Day. Our nation is reverently thinking today of the loved ones sleeping beneath the cold clay, of the sacrifice made and the brave deeds done to preserve our union as a glorious one. We ne'er will be able to pay the great cost of the noble, the true, and the bravest that we have lost. But over their graves with tears like the dew, we'll lay our sweet flowers of red, white, and blue. Our nation is paying its tribute today upon the green mounds where its loyal men lay, while statesman and orator fondly repeat the story of those who knew no defeat. They tell of the Union united again by the triumph of those who died not in vain, of the 44 states all loyal and free, of the peace and the freedom from sea to sea. Our nation is thinking, rejoicing today, while comrades are kneeling their tribute to pay, and hearts once sorrowing rejoice now to see the star-spangled banner, the flag of the free. For out of their loyalty and brave deeds done, out of their battles and their victories won, came freedom and peace, and in liberty's name our banner floats freely with glory and fame. Our nation is reverently thinking today of the men now living who will soon pass away, like the grass of the field and the flowers they spread, or the graves of the comrades, immortal, dead. Tall monuments stand to their memory dear, but they crumble and fall like the leaf when seared. Our nation united forever will stand to those who preserve it, a monument grand. Whenever we gather today neath the stars, let's honor the living now wearing the scars, which they brought from the fields of battle and strife while protecting our flag and our nation's life. Let the flowers bear tribute to their simple way, and each one remember Memorial Day. Remember the dead and the living, though few, who fought neath the stars and the red, white, and blue. At this point in time, I'll welcome back Jenny, who will talk about the wives of the Patriots, followed by Dan.
Well, this one's a real easy. There are two gentlemen here, buried here, Daniel Huntley and Daniel Peck. And interestingly enough, Daniel Peck's sister, Lovisa or Louisa, married Daniel Huntley. Daniel Huntley's sister married Daniel Peck. So you had sisters and brothers moving from one to the other and marrying. Well, Lovisa was born in Lyme. All of these people came from Lyme, New London, Connecticut, almost all of them, in 1758. She was the daughter of Silas Peck and Elizabeth Calkins. And they were married on 15 February 1780 in Lyme, Connecticut. When they came over here, they did have a daughter. Her name was Elizabeth M. Huntley Hyde. This is the Hyde Miller Cemetery. Excuse me. And she was born 5 February 1794 in Lyme, Connecticut, and died 30 May 1872 in Hyde Miller Cemetery, but we could not find her gravestone. So we're not going to be able to honor her, but we are honoring the two mothers. Lavina Huntley, who married Daniel Peck, so it was Lavina Huntley Peck, was born 5 June 1766 in Lyme, Connecticut. They were married April 19th, 1786 by Jason Lee. We really didn't find who married them. They moved to Ohio in 1811, and she died in New Lyme, Ohio on 16 January. And here I had problems because some of the sources said 1839 and some said 1828, so I'll be anxious to see what Dan found. He's much better at this than I am. Her parents were Benjamin and Bethiah Doran Huntley. They had 6 children. So Dan?
Dan Huntley was born November 25th, 1756 in Lyme, Connecticut. He was the son of Amos Huntley and Phoebe Mack. According to his pension application, he served at Black Point, Connecticut, starting in the month of September 1776, and was released from service in December of the same year. He also stated that he served 3 months guarding the fort at New London. He was 78 years old at the time of his application for pension, so he was not able to provide names of who he served under. His pension was rejected for not having served long enough to qualify. He married Lavissa Peck, the sister of Dan Peck, in 1780, and had a daughter, Elizabeth. I found several family trees and histories that list up to 8 additional children, but that would have meant that Mrs. Peck would have given birth to them between the ages of 53 and 68. So I think those may not have been their kids, other than Elizabeth. In 1810, he exchanged his farm in Connecticut and contracted to purchase land with the intentions of starting a permanent settlement in this area. In 1813, when the township was organized as Lebanon Township, he was one of the first trustees. He built the first frame house in this area in 1826. Dan Huntley died on July 14th, 1835. Dan Peck was born April 17th, 1762 in Nova Scotia. Many of the things I see have him born in Connecticut. That was probably people guessing, because in his pension application, one of the forms he filled out by hand said, "I was born in Nova Scotia." So I'm pretty sure he was born in Nova Scotia. He was the son of Silas Peck Sr. and Elizabeth Calkins of Lyme, Connecticut. He enlisted along with his father in 1776 in Captain Calkins' company, who was his uncle and his dad's brother-in-law. In 1778 or 1779, he enlisted as a guard to Lieutenant Governor Griswold, and was stationed at Black Hill in Lyme, Connecticut. He also served in 1780 for 6 months, and again in 1781 when he served 9 months, for a total of 27 months of service. He married Lavina Huntley in 1783 and had 6 children. Sons Lemuel, Silas, Edward, Ansel, and Lyman, and his daughter Polly/Marie, or Mary, not Marie. He relocated to New Lyme in 1811 with his son Ansel and a party of 9. Upon his arrival, he and the others in his party cleared land known as the Pigeon's Roost and built a log cabin. The reason it was called the Pigeon's Roost is because before the land was cleared, there were thousands and thousands of pigeons that used to roost in that area. And you can guess what the soil was like with all the free fertilizer. So once they cleared all the trees, they had fertilized fields for years to come. The land belonged to Dan Peck and Zophyr Gee. And was well manured from the years of pigeons living in that area. They put in a crop of corn as a joint effort, then returned to Lyme, Connecticut. That August, they brought their families to Ohio. It took them 43 days to travel from Lyme, Connecticut to New Lyme Township, Ohio. He was granted for his pension for his service in 1832, and he passed away on January 16, 1839. We, the members of the Northeast Ohio Chapter, Ohio State Society, Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, dedicate the new SAR markers attached to the gravestones of Dan Huntley and Dan Peck, and rededicate the flag markers adjacent to those stones to the glory of God and in the recognition of the memory of these patriots of the American Revolution. Thank you.